All right. So our group did IV Elementary, and we sort of incorporated in both like the edge of the university with the horse stables and the preschool and the open space, the Communicorto open space. And that like what makes this kind of a very complex space is that it's 3 different entities having jurisdiction and ownership over it. And there's with especially the Communicorto open space and all of the vernal pools, a lot of limitations of what exactly can be done with it. But one of the really big benefits of it is it's this big, huge, beautiful chunk of open space. All of these vernal pools and fields, and right now, like there are some wildflowers starting. It's really beautiful right now. And that a big thing we focused on is this is IV Elementary, and most of the students that live in Isla Vista that go to IV Elementary walk across this path, and we were having like kind of some debate about lighting it. There's a lot of issues with that, having the lighting be kind of both permanent, and right now kind of the general plan for the whole open space is to like be discouraging use at night, and also light would be affecting kind of all of the animals and the aspects of the open space.
Could I just
Yeah.
So when I was a student, which was many years ago, so this may not be the issue anymore, I lived in what used to be Francisco Torres, now Santa Catalina, and we were deathly scared of that park.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very scary, and it was what we always walked through to get back from Del Playa to Santa Catalina at night. And we'd heard so many horrible stories about that area.
I can speak to that. I lived in San Cat, and I worked a lot in the res halls. Communicorto, when I was a first year, it was terrifying, because it was extremely dark, but like over time, like the lighting has increased. I mean, in a dream scenario, it's like perfectly lit all the way across, but the lighting has significantly increased, and I feel like that's part of it, is keeping my constant light in that area, because like we want to be aware of the nature, but at the same time, it's a safety concern, so there's just being aware to like, so just angle the light so they're not shining on like the vernal pools and things like that, but they are shining on the street. But like going off of like Scary Park, it's really gorgeous during the day, but one of the things is to simply guide the path, because right now it's just, there's a path because you see other people's footsteps on the dirt path, so kind of just like maybe a natural way of creating the path, because we noticed like there were runners, like there was someone running with their dog, just off leash, and it was great, but unless you know where to run, you can't. So it's like putting up signs like you've run X amount from this point to this point, or from this point to this point you've run X amount. So kind of like encouraging people to use that as like a workout space, or like a really beautiful place to run that's really close. Because like you have faculty, you have there's gonna be a lot more res hall area there. Like you have a lot more people living in that area. So it kind of encourages like a cool place to run, but we want to make sure to establish paths so like it's not messing with nature, and also no safety concerns. And the other thing is, there's also a lot of educational boards. Given we have IV Elementary, maybe simultaneously dumb it down and bring it up, where we have educational boards that are meant for like 3rd graders and 1st graders, which is like, what's the basic, like, think back to like your ecosystems, things like that, like cool interactive things like you can touch, you can move, like when you played in a park when you're a little kid, as well as things that may appeal to college students, or it's like, oh, you learn about this in your biology class, and things like tying it into studies on campus for like quite literally height-wise. So if you're small, like the lower you go, the easier the science gets. The higher you go, the harder the science gets. So like you kind of appeal to it, because the other thing going into it is you have so many families walking through that area that we might as well outreach them and create like an educational aspect on their walk to school. And the other part to it is crossing guard. I like doing that from like building my own community experience. Like I was friends with my crossing guard because I walked to school by myself a lot, and it was like a really good community thing. It made my parents feel safer, like I'm walking to school and I'm in 4th grade, but also that like it kind of like it gave the kids another person to talk to on their way to school. So like that's a cool way to
crossing guard there.
Yeah. It'd be a cool way to tie in college students though, and like actually take people ownership in the community. So you have students that are living so close there, encouraging or seeing if that community be willing to take on the role of crossing guard. I'm not sure there's rules to that, so it's like they kind of take ownership to that, of sharing that space and sharing that road. Like if you stand out there at 8 a.m., you have bikes and buses and people rushing to get to class, but you also have like kids walking to class. So kind of balancing that out and sharing the space and taking ownership of it would be cool.
Another thing we talked about was kind of trying to have like more program and events with Ivy Elementary, tying the rest of Isla Vista to it. And that, like, I remember when I was little, we got this model electric plane and taking that there to try and fly it, since it's this one of the biggest open spaces. And now that like drones are becoming really popular, that might be a good thing to try and partner with Ivy Elementary for. Like kind of having the kids there get experience with drones and also tying a lot of people in. Another thing we talked about is how beautiful the Red Barn is, or rather could be. Or like we would love to see the university refurbish it and repair it. It's such a beautiful and cool space.
It like has an opportunity to be so much more than a barn for farm animals. Like it's a really cool structure that you usually only see in books, and have it so close to an animal, have it in IV. It'd be such a cool space to turn it into a community area where like you could maybe have learning centers there, you can have small shows there, it can just be a small gathering space outside of the Ivy Elementary. It's a good focal point given that faculty is so close. It's Ivy Elementary, Res Hall, like it's a really good focal point that if the university doesn't want to use it as a farmhouse, we could use it as a smaller community house. It's a really strong focal point for like all those groups to connect, and you can't complain it's too far because it's less than a block away from all of those communities in a way. So I think it's a really good thing to tap into. And then also tap into the current programs we have on campus. Like right now, the department is trying to create community a civic engagement in community and theater. And so reaching out to them like, oh, would you be willing to say maybe do like a living history project, have drama students dress up like period pieces and like go and interact with the kids so they're learning history interactively. Or like engineering students come in and talk about like or help with the science fair and things like that. But rather than just going sporadically to Ivy Elementary and overwhelming them, creating programs, say over the summer, that students could sign up for, and then we go to the principal and say, hey, these are the program ideas we have, would your teachers be interested? And so that the teachers, instead of having to like pick and choose, we could help formulate their lesson plans and add to it, instead of like trying to shoehorn around ideas, just kind of give them like a plethora of options, have students sign up to the options that appeal to them, and then based on that, go to teachers like, hey, these are all options we have for this quarter / this semester. What would you like us to do? So we're kind of helping serve that community. And I think it's important for college students to interact with elementary school kids, because you don't always get told that you're going to go to college, even though like, when you're in college, you're like, yeah, but you don't always really get told that. So I feel like exposing elementary school kids to students that are in college will create a drive at a really young age to want to continue on to higher education beyond high school.
Yeah. I just want to say we stopped by the Teen Center last night, and they had a gal from UCSB from the robotics program working with the kids.
LED.
Yeah, doing all these LED light things and stuff. So it's happening. It's happening.
Can you talk about that, the barn? Like
Yes,
is it this campus
I agree
property?
with you. It is a wonderful
And I'm going to show
structure.
you the inside.
It was designed by a Santa Barbara woman architect, and who is the same one who did the Campbell Ranch House. It has been condemned. It is not suitable for occupancy. The campus architect has condemned it, and to bring it to any sort of level that it could be occupied, well, it would take a very deep pocket.
Is it listed as a state or national register for historic places? Is it
Oh, I've never been inside.
No.
Yeah, that's the inside.
I think
We
kids go there all
fantasize
the
about an artist in residence program that would, whether it's music or a visual artist, and then the 150 or 200 faculty that are right there would love that, right? And then, you would have, but I know that, I'm probably rubbing the fur the wrong way, because it is condemned.
Not at all.
So-
The historian in me wants to save this building by Mary Craig. There's a book that's just been published on her work, but it has no foundation, right? So you're going to have to lift it up,
Barn raising.
build a new house. Like, you might as well disassemble
That's what we
it
did with our
and
back
rebuild
house.
it again. I would say $500,000 minimum. To bring it to some habitable use, has to be sprinklered, has no services at all. But it is a gorgeous artifact.
Yeah, it's so appealing to an artist. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's
yes.
so raw. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not an architect, but you essentially keep the bones of the structure and have things grow. So, shoot, I don't know the terms, but kind of just the simple frame of the barn, like even if you strip it of its walls and have things grow to become the walls. Rather than, because like that's a significant amount of money, but like over time, if we just keep this simple structure of just the frame, we could then, and then like encourage like ivies and things to grow in between the frame, it would eventually create its own living building in a way that can't be condemned because it's technically nature. I'm trying.
A big topiary barn. It's not a bad idea as a monument or as a ghost image of the.
That might hasten its collapse.
We purposely deconstruct it instead of just knocking it down.
Yeah, almost like almost a memory, retaining its kind of memory in a way. But the other way to go is, save the barn.
All right, well.
All right, we didn't clap for that last group. Yay!
What